So how's isolation going, dude? Are you going a bit stir crazy, or are you all right on your own? What do you mean, That's how a serial killer would answer that question. I'm all right.
Social distancing.
Oh, you're practicing social distancing, okay.
No, I need to shout too often through the window. Social distancing.
You're an old lady from the 70s. That's amazing. I mean, I'm not on my own. I've got a friend, right? This is Pickles. Pickles, say hello.
Hello, Pickles.
Wow. No, let him speak first. It's called a conversation, Ed. Hello and welcome back, and we're continuing talking about the new Synologies for 2020. We were looking at the new releases and seeing some of them have got a little bit of an overlap. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at two of the 4 bays, which a lot of you are probably going to be tossing a coin trying to figure out which one to buy. We are, of course, talking about the DS920 Plus and the DS420 Plus. Now, because of self-isolation and COVID and lockdown and all kinds of stuff, as you can probably tell, me and Ed are in different locations using webcams. It isn't just a case of a wall between us that's kind of separated and we live in a house where they cut the front off. Consequently, we have had to change things up a little bit for these videos, but nevertheless, we're going to proceed forward with alacrity. Today, Eddie, which of the NASs are you representing?
I'll go for 420 Plus.
Poor choice. I'm going for the DS920 Plus, and we're going to help you guys decide which one is best for you. As always, both of these are Synology NASs, so they're running the majority of Synology applications: Synology Moments, Synology Drive, Synology Calendar, Synology Mail, Synology Surveillance Station, Photo Station, Video Station, Music Station, Docker, Plex Media Server, all of those apps, Active Backup and Hyper Backup, just to name a bunch. So regardless of which one of these two you go for, you are going to get a NAS that can support a myriad of Synology applications, as well as BTRFS and Synology's hybrid RAID system, Synology SHR. Now, I don't know if you can pick it up on the mic at this end, but I've still got drilling work and stuff happening just behind my office here. So although Eddie can't seemingly hear any of that, I can hear all of it, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to remove it in the recording. Consequently, this is going to be not unlike a teenager calling their parents while they're at a party with music playing and mum and dad are drinking cups of tea. He can hear none of the background noise, and I've got nothing but that background noise, so I apologise if I'm particularly loud in this video, more so than others. But let's press forward. Eddie, 420 Plus, why should they buy your NAS?
Oh, there are many things, because first of all, they have made a 420 to look more like 918 used to look. So you got this NVMe slot now, you got a lower price, you got DDR4, you got better graphics chip, and all these things which you would want in 918. So I think this is going to be like a game changer almost, because it seems like all new models are actually featuring this NVMe cache. So those who couldn't decide what to buy because 918 seemed to be quite expensive, now 420 is going to make this purchase more affordable.
It is serving as kind of a follow-up to the Play, would you say?
Yes, exactly. I think they won't have 420 Play series this year because it looks very much like Play model. And they just probably phase it out, and it's going to be 420 only.
I did think when I saw it, kind of because it's a shame to drop the Play, because although the Play series over the last few years has taken kind of a back step, given the similarities between the Plus series and the Play, we saw it in the past with the 2-bay Play series, which has now become this weird, affordable, but not as powerful version in the 2-bays. So I reckon we'll still see a 2-bay Play, but you're right. I think this might, sign a death warrant on a 4-bay Play series. But the 420 Plus, would you not agree that its specifications are there's gaps for a lot of buyers? Do you not think the price between the 420 and the 920 Plus is probably going to be like the previous generation, with a price difference of around 70 to maybe £90 on the outside? So based on what you're seeing in the 420, do you really think that it's worth not spending just another £90 to get so much more?
If it's going to be £90, but £90 and add your local tax is going to be over £100 already, $4. And many people don't need these extra things like 4 cores or expansion slots there, so you could expand to 9 drives. Because so many people buy these 4 bays because Synology don't do 3 bay solution. So people buy this 4 bay and stick 2 or 3 drives in there. So you get this RAID 5 on 3 drives, which means you maximize your available storage space on your NAS. Because when you buy 2 bay, you got just these 2 bays mirroring each other, and you effectively lose 1 drive because of that. But if you put 3 drives in there, you lose only 1 drive for redundancy, for all the safety features.
I agree. Sorry, I was going to say, I agree with you about the whole NVMe SSD cache largely becoming something that all Synology NASs have, particularly because of DSM-7 having much improved utilization and algorithms around SSD caching technique. But it's just an idea that I can understand if the 420 didn't have SSD cache, or if the 920 had 2.5 GBE, which I know it seems like I'm ragging on my own NAS here, but what I'm saying is the 420 for me, it's too close. It's too close to the 920 to make me think, well, for this relatively small sum, I can get 2 more cores, I can get twice the memory, I can get another year's warranty, I can get expandability. The 420 is a good NAS by everything we're seeing from the spec sheets, but the 920, unless that price difference is Herculean, like 150, 200 nicker, I do think the 920 for me is a better choice between them. I mean, the CPU, you've got the dual core, haven't you?
Yes, dual core.
So it's the 4025, so it's 2.0 gigahertz to 2.9 gigahertz when burst. So it's a damn fine CPU. How does it perform in transcoding and stuff like that?
Just like 920, 420 also features the same graphics chip, which is 600 series. So in theory, both of these NASs could perform very same if the hardware encoding is in place. If we push something harder, where also CPU need to do some work, then 920 will do a better job. But otherwise not. 420 is going to be equally good. So even if it is £100 difference, it does make a difference for some people, because if both of these NASs perform exactly the same, why do you need this extra, buffer zone for this extra performance, which you're never ever going to use?
Well, you say never ever. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. There you go. Old man Rob, classic video. Thanks for watching. No, stay around. But okay, so let's let you into a little trade secret here. Because we're obviously using web cameras here, we've got a lot of the specifications here in front of us. I've got my tablet as normal. But right now for the 420, obviously Synology have published a lot of information. So they've published the number of cameras to be utilized in the likes of surveillance station, the virtual machine utilization and stuff like that. And all of them do seem to depend a lot on the 420 having maximum memory, So yours, the maximum memory is how much?
My one is 2 gigs built in, which is not really exciting, but it can be expanded up to 6 officially and more unofficially.
Do you want to talk about that? 6 gig?
No, 6 gigs. 6 gigs is enough. You might struggle with 2 gig if you want to run things like Plex and virtual machines and everything. You're probably not going to be able to do those 2 things at the same time. It's 2 gigs to run. But if you do upgrade, then yeah, 6 gigs should be enough. Because anyway, you can't run any heavy virtual machines on 420. Something simple, some Android or
2 cores, I mean, so but for you, what I was getting at was 6 gig, so 4 gig stick and a 2 gig stick. I know we're going slightly off topic, but what the hell is that? I mean, I've never quite understood the whole 4 gig, 2 gig thing. I know we've talked about it in other videos.
Yeah, it would be 8 gig, but the way 420 is built, that one of the RAM modules is underneath. You can't, like a chassis, you can't really get to it. You need a dismantle unit to actually upgrade it properly. So for that reason, they don't want people to upgrade to 8 gig, because that would require dismantling the unit, and things can happen, and the warranty and things like that.
It still seems like a weird way to do things, but we'll leave that point there. I mean, with regards to CPU benchmark, I know the CPU benchmark, there's a disparity of well over 1,000, I think. I think CPU benchmark rated mine at about 3,030. I'm sure it's on the screen somewhere, but yeah, 3,030 something. And yours?
It's 1,800. So it's
so there must be
quite significant.
There must be a reason for that disparity. I mean, I know they've both got the same graphical components. They can both support up to, 8 gig of video memory. I think it's less than a gigahertz. It's like between 250 and 750 at the top end in terms of graphical ability. So 4K transcoding, H.264, 265. But are you saying that both of these NASs, both the 420 and the 920, support the same level of decoding and encoding?
Yes, it is true. The only difference you will notice, I'm saying, if you have several streams, because there is that much of resources on this chip, so very soon you will run out of this whatever memory you got there or computing power on the chip. So then you will need to borrow some from the normal CPU, and if you got only 2 cores there compared to 4 cores, there's more things to take from the 920 series than 420.
Okay, well,
if you do that, but if you've got only 1 stream, 2 streams or something, you might get in those boundaries and you never need this extra performance.
But again, even when we look at because we don't precisely know the price difference, but we can make some educated guesses. The idea that the 420 plus, what's the warranty on that? Is that 2 years or 3 years?
The warranties.
Because again, I
2 years. 2 years. Oh yeah.
So the 420 plus has 2 years.
No, 5 years. Sorry, 5 years. 220 is 2 years for some reason. That's the only low now.
And that's what I mean. So there's a distinction there of a year, and a year of warranty can make a lot of difference. And I know a lot of users will want to kind of invest in the future. And I know obviously there's more paths you can go down this with regards to upgradability and stuff like that. But that 1 year of extra warranty for me is sort of worth at least half of the price difference between it, because a warranty coverage, I know Synology cover the warranty of their software almost lifetime, but in terms of the hardware, they don't, there is obviously a limiting factor. And I think 3 years of warranty on the 920 is one of the ways in which that disparity of price difference in hardware is made up. On top of that, there's obviously the fact that you can expand it. You've touched on that maybe you're not going to utilize expandability, but you might utilize it later. I know right now, what are the hard drives? 16 TB from Seagate Iron Wolf? That's enormous. So in a 4-bay, that's an enormous amount of storage. A raw capacity of 64 terabytes unrated might seem like a lot, but it might not seem like a lot 3-4 years down the line when you still want these devices to work. I mean, what would you first?
This work was on this warranty thing. You get 3 years warranty on 420, 720, and 920. Only 220 model has 2 years warranty. But you can upgrade up to 5 years with their additional warranty license or something to 5 years if you want to.
Okay, well, sorry, I misunderstood what you said there. But with regard to the expandability and that storage volume size, like 4 bays, once you enter into a RAID 5, you've got 3 bays of storage remaining. Expandability is probably something that needs to be factored into anyone's storage model, particularly if you've got more than 4 or 5 people storing devices on this. I mean, look at the size of photos and movies these days. 16 TB sounds like a lot, but if you times that by people, times that by years, I do think the expandability of the 920 can't be overlooked.
It's funny enough that it should be like that, but when you look at the sales numbers, that expansion units are not really selling that well. So no one really seemed to expand their units because I think they don't trust in this cable in between the expansion and us, because they probably are worried, like, what if you disconnect and your RAID goes up? So I think they just, before they buy, they see the expansion options up to 9 bays, they think like, oh yeah, it's a good thing for the future, but they never actually go for it. They just upgrade from 4 bays to 8 bays or something like that.
I think a lot of people, again, when you mentioned about unnecessary factors, a lot of people will look at, say, the power consumption of the 920. And if, as you say, they're not going to push their utilization particularly high, they might see that the increased power utilization of the 920 to be unnecessary. They might be thinking green or just thinking of the bottom dollar, but they're still going to be too much power.
But when we're talking about power consumption, actually 420, it consumes less power than 920.
No, that's what I was saying. Your one is it's a better choice in terms of power efficiency, certainly. But I mean, right now, what is it that would make you choose the 920 over the 420 right now?
Yeah, if I would have more than 2 users using it, I would probably consider 920, definitely. Just because of these extra cores you get. And if I'm going to push it harder, I'm going to have this virtual machine, which needs some decent speed, not just, doing some basic background checks. If you want someone actually to use a virtual machine like properly, then 920 is going to do a better job than 420. 420, they seem to allow all these things just for people to just check it out. So because lots of people don't realize what is virtual machines. So now Synology is giving them opportunity to actually have a play with these things and fall in love in these things, and then they'll upgrade to 920.
Exactly. And again, for me, in the reverse, the thing that would make, well, no, I'm not even going to say the thing that still might make me choose the 420 over the 920, despite the fact that I do genuinely think the 920 is the better NAS overall. In terms of long term, I'm still surprised it only has 1 GBE. I mean, all of them only having 1 GBE, but the 920 especially, because I thought for range distinction, I kind of hoped the 920 would have 2.5 or 5 GBE. And because of that, that's one of the things that would make me, but on balance, consider the 420, because it would make me wonder, right, I might be buying a new piece of hardware in 2 to 3 years down the line. And the existing 18 series has 1 GBE. So it feels, all of them kind of feel like they've got a slightly shorter half-life. And therefore, the 420 might be a better long-term economical choice for many people jumping into NAS for the first time. Because a lot of people, when they buy their first NAS server, they will upgrade a few years down the line if they start seeing, I can really use all of these things, as you say yourself. But 1 GB and network capabilities, and particularly now that internet service providers are starting to roll out hardware that features AX Wi-Fi, starting to feature increased gigabit consumption, 1 GBE as standard is a little bit underwhelming. And it's one of those things that a lot of people will go for the 420 because of it. Sorry, you were saying. Yeah,
but that's why Synology is rolling out models with single gigabit port. That's why you saw 418 Play used to have 1, and 420 Plus is having 2 ports, like any other NAS. Even 220 Plus is having 2 ports now, because they realized that the day has come that the internet has become faster than your local Ethernet.
Yeah,
and that's ridiculous. That's why they added another LAN port, which fights off this argument. Because now you have 2 gigabit either link aggregated or load balancing, but you've got this 2 gigabit option now.
I think for now, I'm willing to bet Synology are going to consider this multi-gigabit action. I mean, the 1621XS that's apparently on the release schedule for this year, according to the Q&A, self-plug, link in the description, that has 2.5 GBE ports as standard and a PCIe upgradability built in. And I think they may be moving 1 GBE towards the bottom end, the 1 and 4 bay models, and leaving 2.5 for the later, bigger models. But we'll have to wait and see. We should probably wrap things up here.
Yeah.
We have got more comparisons on these new Thors and 2s from Synology, and we will be comparing against the old Gen 2, as well as QNAP, Acer Store, TerraMaster, and more. If you've got any questions, do let us know in the comments. Do click like if you've enjoyed it. Click subscribe if you want to learn more and stay abreast on these things. Ed, have I missed anything?
No, you did a good job.
Wow, seriously, even from this distance, I can feel the sarcasm hit my face like a brick. I will see you next time, Eddie, and I will see the rest of you in the next video. Cheerio. We're not going to wave. You know that? Unbelievable. On wave.